In 2009, Pep Guardiola made a decision that would revolutionize the way that we see football. He took one of the world's best strikers and told him to stop scoring goals. It seemed crazy, but this simple tactical change actually led to one of the most dominant eras in the history of football in that Barcelona team. Fast forward to today in 2025, and this revolutionary tactic has seemingly vanished from the game. So this is the story of how the false nine conquered football and then went extinct. But before I reveal why this groundbreaking tactic has disappeared, you guys need to understand just how potent and powerful it was. Picture this, it's the 2011 Champions League final, Barcelona versus Manchester United. Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, who are the Manchester United centre-backs, are standing confused because Lionel Messi has dropped deep yet again. Do they follow him and leave a gap for the wingers to exploit, or do they stay and let Messi turn and run at them? This was the false nine. This was football's perfect antidote. It was football's perfect weapon. The story actually goes back to Italy, where Roma manager Luciano Spalletti first experimented dropping Francesco Totti into midfield. And this tactic worked. It worked so well that Pep Guardiola decided to borrow it and take it to the next level. Because in 2009, Guardiola looked at his squad and made a decision that seemed really absurd. He had one of the best pure strikers in the world in Samuel Eto'o, yet he chose to sell him. Yes, they had their disagreements, yes, they had their back and forth, but why was this so groundbreaking at the time? Because he saw something in Lionel Messi that would transform football. And under Pep Guardiola's guidance, Messi became the ultimate false nine. Because Messi didn't just drop deep, he became the hybrid of a striker, a midfielder, and a magician. Because in every single game Barcelona's opposition, they faced an impossible choice. You follow Messi and leave gaps for the wingers to exploit, or you let him roam free and tear you apart. There was no right answer. Teams just had to pray to God that Messi would not exploit them yet again. And when we think about this golden era for Barcelona, the results were unbelievable. Because between 2009 and 2012, Barcelona didn't just win, they dominated in a way that football has never seen before. 3 La Liga titles, 2 Champions League titles, and in the Champions League final of 2011, we saw one of the best performances by a team in the history of football. Because this false nine, it wasn't just working, it was breaking football, and you could see the tactical ripples move all across Europe at the time. Suddenly, every team wanted their own version of Messi. Robin van Persie at Arsenal began to drop deeper. Wayne Rooney at Manchester United started dropping deeper and playing more like a midfielder. The false nine wasn't just a position anymore, it was becoming football's new orthodoxy. But here's where the story gets interesting, it started moving over to England as well. Because at Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp reinvented the false nine role directly through Roberto Firmino. Instead of Messi's magical dribbling, Firmino used relentless pressing and selfless movement, because the Brazilian would pull deep, pull defenders out of position, while Salah and Mane would exploit the spaces. We kind of saw the rumblings of it. Liverpool won a Champions League with this system, but this system proved especially lethal in Liverpool's title-winning season of 2019-2020. But here's the thing, it was also showing the first signs of vulnerabilities against organised defences. Because even Manchester City under Guardiola himself took the false nine to the extreme. After losing Sergio Aguero initially to injury and then him leaving to join Barcelona in 2021, Man City played entire seasons without a recognised striker. De Bruyne, Foden, Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, Gundogan, they all had turns playing in the false nine. City won Premier League after Premier League, but something was missing. In the big Champions League matches, the lack of a clinical finisher proved incredibly costly. So the answer to why the false nine vanished lies in 3 unexpected developments. When you have modern centre-backs like Rudiger, Van Dijk, Saliba, Gabriel, Ruben Diaz, they weren't just strong and quick, they were comfortable stepping into midfield. So when that false nine dropped deep, the defenders could follow them without fear because they were confident in their abilities to defend in space. So there we have it, the false nine's main advantage just disappeared. And secondly, we kind of returned back to the classical striker. When you have the likes of Kane, Lewandowski, Haaland, they had those physical presence of the traditional strikers, but crucially they also had the skills to be used as a unique false nine, because they offered teams the best of both worlds. Kane could drop deep and create like a midfielder, but he never lost his killer instinct in front of goal. Haaland could link play when needed, but he maintained that desire and that hunger to get into the box and score goals. But the final nail in the coffin of the false nine came from football's most unlikely source in Pep Guardiola himself. The very man who perfected the false nine abandoned it in signing Erling Haaland in 2022. I mean, in the first season, Haaland broke every single record and he was proving that traditional strikers are back. Because we thought to ourselves, the message was incredibly clear for Manchester City. Why complicate things when you can just score goal after goal after goal as Erling Haaland did in that season? And the death of the false nine has ushered in a new era of complete forwards. I mean, when you look at Victor Osimhen in Napoli's title-winning season, his explosive pace, his aerial ability, it made him a constant challenge for the defenders to face week in and week out. And when he led Napoli to their first Scudetto in 33 years, he showed how modern strikers can dominate without sacrificing their goal-scoring instincts. Even young strikers are following this format. We're seeing Samu at Porto, we're seeing Rasmus Højlund, who is struggling at the moment, but he isn't just expected to score, he's expected to press, hold up play, create for others. Because unlike false nines, these modern strikers maintain their killer instinct in front of goal. But as teams try to adapt to stop these complete strikers, we're already seeing hints of what might come next. Because some managers, they're experimenting with hybrid systems. They're using that traditional striker who can drop deep when needed, supported by the inverted wingers who become strikers in certain phases of play. Take Newcastle's tactical evolution under Eddie Howe, for example. Alexander Isak functions as the traditional number 9, but because he's so good on the ball, he frequently drops deep to facilitate play, similar to what a false 9 does. And then simultaneously, the wingers such as Jacob Murphy and Anthony Gordon, they advance into central attacking areas, effectively becoming traditional strikers. And it makes me think this hybrid approach could be the future of football. Teams aren't having to choose between a goal scorer and a playmaker, they can have both in one player. Key is to finding strikers with that technical ability to link play, but they're in the box at all given moments to score goals. So today, the pure false 9, it's extinct in top level football, but its legacy lives on in how we think about the game. It showed us that sometimes, whilst the most revolutionary ideas aren't about creating something new, it's about reimagining what's already there. I mean, from Messi to Firmino, the false 9 gave us some of the most beautiful football ever played. It was proof that in football and in life, sometimes the most powerful changes come from questioning everything that we think we know. That influence can still be seen in every striker who drops deep to collect the ball, in every forward who presses like a midfielder, and every coach who dares to rethink what's possible. The false 9 may be gone, and it actually changed football forever. And in that change, it helped us create something even better. Forwards who can do it all.